Well, in a perfect example of the pot calling the kettle black, we had Vince Russo, bro, criticizing Tony Khan about shitty booking. Now, of course, Vince Russo has a little bit of room to talk because, like or hate his style of booking, he was the guy who was the head writer presiding over the highest rated, most beloved, most talked about and remembered and reminisced upon period of pro wrestling ever in history. Bro. So he's got a little room to talk, right? He took to his YouTube channel, the Vince Russo brand, and he had a whole lot to say about our friend Tony Khan and the poor ticket sales and the poor ratings and the perceived lack of storytelling and yada yada that we keep hearing. Check out this clip, bro.
I have never met Tony Khan. I have never had a conversation with him. I didn't know who he is. Therefore, I had never said a word about him. But Tony, in an effort to get over with the marks, thought he'd insult Vince Russo. And what Tony Khan said was, when Vince Russo went to WCW, all they had was a little hangnail. And Russo proceeded to cut the entire arm off. So Tony Khan not only took a shot at me, but Tony Khan also blatantly lied. In his mind, I cut the arm off. Why? Because Tony Khan is a wrestling mark. And Tony Khan does not like entertainment. Tony Khan does not like, obviously, good characters and good storylines. And that's what Vince Russo was known for. So in Tony's mind, regardless of what the rating really was, regardless, Russo cut off the entire arm because he was putting out a version of professional wrestling that I did not like. Because I'm a mark. And all I like are the choreographed fights, bro. All I like is the bell-to-bell wrestling. I don't like anything else. Karma is a bitch, man. Karma is a bitch. You think it's freaking easy writing all that television every week and all those pay-per-views, and then you have multiple shows? You think that's easy, bro? That you're taking a shot at me and you don't even know me? Karma is a bitch. AEW, bro, is free falling. This thrashing is about how Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer have killed AEW, bro. They have absolutely killed AEW. Bro, I will say this over and over again. On their first show 4 years ago, AEW did a 1.4 million people watched the show. 4 years later, they've never, ever, ever come close to that number again.
The wrestling, bro. No one likes wrestling. You have to appeal to a bigger audience, bro. He's not wrong. AEW clearly has its audience. AEW as an alternative product to the WWE is the more wrestling-oriented product. You're not going to see matches in WWE like you will see in AEW. Full Gear, perfect example. You're never, ever, ever in your life going to see a match like that Hangman Swerve Strickland match in the WWE or any of the other matches that took place, for example. There's just a different level of pro wrestling and the acknowledgement of other companies and other wrestlers, like a Will Ospreay, for example. Will Ospreay, like, maybe he'd be a bigger star in WWE. Of course he would be, but his style of wrestling belongs in AEW. But that has its cap audience. 700 to 100,000 to a million is its peak audience. We've seen it. AEW Dynamite rarely, if ever, gets over the hump of 1 million. 1.1, 1.2. And I gotta believe that that's somewhat of a mix between a margin of error or just very casuals that are popping in. Because AEW's consistent audience is between 700,000 and a million. For Dynamite, once you move to Rampage and Collision, it's lower. Rampage is laughable, between 2 and 500,000. And Collision, not much better, between like 3 and 700,000 people. Depending on, if there's a pay-per-view or whatever the fuck else is going on that night. To be fair, Saturday night's a bad night. Saturday night's alright for fight, I guess is, hopefully that doesn't get me. Can I get a copyright strike for that? Not if I sing it out of tone like that, right? Because then they won't be able to pick up on it off key. But I think the network is aware of that kind of going in. Like, I think that's why they put AEW there, because they know it's going to get somewhat of a loyal, diehard audience that will be consistently there. Because otherwise it's a crapshoot if they just run like a rerun movie or something like that. It's, maybe people watch, maybe don't. Who knows? But it's never going to appeal to a wider audience. It's wrestling, bro. No one likes wrestling. There's something to be said for that. Now, you don't go the complete opposite either, where it's all just storytelling, and WWE is much more heavy on the story side. Clearly, it's working for them. So maybe that's it. I think AEW does try to tell stories. They got the one with Hangman and Strickland. They got the one that they're trying to tell with MJF and Adam Cole. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. They're telling stories. I think that's an unfair criticism. It's just not the kind of stories, or maybe they're not doing as good of a job. Or maybe it's overshadowed by booking matches out of nowhere, like MJF versus Kenny Omega with no build. And then you get the peripheral people like a Vince Russo or something that go, bro, they don't even promote their matches, bro. They just throw it on. All the while not really understanding that there are stories going on in the background. You just haven't heard of why MJF is wrestling Kenny Omega, which is true. Why just throw that out there flippantly on national TV? I would think that that's a pretty significant pay-per-view buy. A lot of people criticize AEW for making a lot of the same mistakes that WCW made and that TNA has made. I think there's something to be said for that too. Ticket sales and the ratings are not good. I would have thought Edge would have made a difference for AEW, but he hasn't, it doesn't seem like. Maybe Will Ospreay will, hopefully. But I don't know if Edge can't make a difference, how much of a difference will Will Ospreay make? Who is, in my opinion, the greatest wrestler in the world. I don't know, man. I think Vince Russo has a point, but it's very hard for a guy that booked the choppy the PP angle to sit and criticize another company for not telling good enough stories. It's a niche product. Wrestling is a niche product, and AEW has honed in on the wrestling fans. And that's how they are clearly separating themselves from the WWE as an alternative brand, as a challenger brand. The problem is if they don't get their shit together, they're going to, they're trying to be the Pepsi to Coke. And Coke will always be number one because they're Coke. But Pepsi's a strong number two, right? Like if Coke started slipping, they would do some kind of bad PR shit like Bud Light did or something like that. Pepsi could easily become number two or number one. But like Faggo and RC Cola and Shasta and Great Value, they're not going to become number one. AEW has the potential to fall to a level of TNA. They really, once they start getting compared to TNA, that's when they really got to check themselves. They had a very good showing for themselves in the LA Forum. But as a number two, I don't know that they're going to grow much past what they're at right now, being a strictly wrestling company. I like it. To be honest with you, I like wrestling, but I also, I like those matches, but I can see that there needs to be more to draw in the casual fan. And along with that, I think Tony Khan needs to stop hitting the coke and get the fuck off the internet for a while, because that ain't helping either. But I've ranted on this enough. Just wanted to share Vince Russo's thoughts, bro. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, bro. Let me know what you think of Tony Khan, bro. Is he a mark, bro? Tony Khan is a money mark, bro. Nobody likes wrestling. All right, I'm done.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Ooh yeah, dig it!